You control nothing, or at least that's the belief they've instilled in you. Consider all the moments when someone led you to make a decision without you even realizing it. Was it truly your choice, or was the idea subtly placed in your mind, where you unknowingly nurtured it until it took root? If you think every action you've taken was purely your own, you're living in an illusion. The reality is harsh. The world is run by those who pull the strings, and if you're not one of them, you're merely the puppet. But what separates the controllers from controlled? The ones who hold power never impose. They simply lead others to act in alignment with their desires without them ever noticing. True manipulation is unseen. It's a whisper rather than demand, a feeling embedded rather than a command given. And the most unsettling part? You've already been subjected to it. Think back to the last time your perspective shifted, without you even recognizing how it happened. A suggestion slipped into a conversation, a seemingly innocent remark, a well-timed gesture. This is real influence, guiding people without them suspecting a thing. Now, the question that should unsettle you: what if you were the one in control? What if, instead of being moved, you were the one orchestrating the movement? The distinction between winners and losers in this game is straightforward. The victors understand that true power isn't force, it's instilled. The problem is that society has taught us otherwise. We've been conditioned to believe influence comes from authority, from speaking loudly, from demanding obedience. Yet, those who genuinely control the world never need to shout. They don't have to. The true strategists ensure that others adopt their ideas, convinced they thought of them themselves. And that's the truth no one has told you. Manipulation isn't about coercion, nor is it about overpowering others with sheer force or argument. It's something far more delicate, a psychological dance where people unknowingly walk the path you've set for them, believing they chose it themselves. So, do you want to know how it works? First, choose the right targets. Not everyone can be influenced, so focus on those who matter, the ones who crave direction without realizing it, the ones who believe they're independent yet subconsciously seek someone to guide them. Second, let them think the idea is their own. Resistance vanishes when people feel in control. If you want someone to take action, never instruct them outright. Instead, plant the seeds subtly, drop hints, make passing remarks, allow them to arrive at the conclusion naturally. The human mind resists orders but embraces its own conclusions. Done correctly, they will defend your plan as though they devised it themselves. Third, weaken any opposition. The biggest threat to control isn't defiance, but the unification of that defiance. If a group bands together against you, your control crumbles. But if you instill doubt, sow discord, or cause internal divisions, they will weaken themselves. Divide and conquer. But that alone isn't enough. To truly control, you must grasp human emotion. Logic shapes thoughts, but emotion drives action. No one acts purely on reason. They move because they feel something. Fear, desire, insecurity, pride. Identify what stirs each person and leverage that emotion. Don't instruct them. Make them feel that action is inevitable. And here lies the greatest danger. Every action has consequences. Manipulating others carries a price. If you're discovered, you become the enemy. Abuse this power, and eventually, someone else will learn your methods and turn them against you. Influence is a weapon, and like any weapon, it can be turned upon its wielder. History is littered with master manipulators who thought they were untouchable, until someone outmaneuvered them. So, the real question isn't whether you can manipulate others, but whether you're prepared for what follows. Because once you step beyond that line, there is no going back. Now you understand, power is about force. It's about direction. It's not about speaking. It's about making others speak for you. And the paradox? The less control you seem to exert, the more you truly have. The world is not ruled by those who shout the loudest, but by those who pull the strings in silence. The only question that remains: will you continue as a puppet, or will you learn to master the strings? But this is only the beginning. If you truly want to master influence, you must go further. You must understand a truth most never realize. People don't follow ideas, they follow emotions. Think of history's most powerful movements, the figures who shaped the course of humanity. How did they achieve it? Not through impeccable logic or flawless reasoning, but through emotion. They crafted visions that made people feel something. Because when emotions take hold, logic fades into irrelevance. Ever notice how people fiercely defend ideas they can't even articulate? How they fight for beliefs they've never questioned? It's because those ideas are intertwined with their identity and sense of belonging. And this is the key. To influence someone, don't just present an idea, make it part of who they are. Minds can change, but identities rarely do without resistance. No one wants to admit they've been wrong their entire life. But if they absorb an idea as part of their identity, they'll defend it relentlessly. Not because you asked them to, but because doing so gives them purpose. Now, this enters dangerous territory because this isn't mere persuasion, it's programming. It's embedding a belief so deeply that the individual never questions how it got there. To achieve this, you need 3 elements: exposure, repetition, and emotional connection. First, exposure. A single interaction won't shift someone's thinking. Resistance is instinctual, but an idea is introduced gradually, indirectly. The mind begins to accept it without realizing. The unfamiliar repels, but the familiar becomes comfortable. Second, repetition. A falsehood repeated often enough becomes accepted as truth, not because reality changes, but because the human mind equates repetition with certainty. We trust what we hear frequently, even if it's untrue. This is why skilled manipulators never state something just once. They present it in varied forms, at different times, until it embeds itself in the target's mind. Third, emotional connection. Understanding an idea isn't enough. People must feel it. The brain prioritizes emotion over logic. If you attach an idea to fear, desire, pride, or nostalgia, it becomes inescapable. And here's a deeper truth. Most people believe they are rational, independent thinkers. They assume they make their own choices. But in reality, most of their decisions have been shaped long before they realize it. Society molds desires, experiences condition reactions, and biology dictates responses. If you understand these patterns, you can anticipate actions before the person is even aware of them. For example, did you know people trust those who listen more than those who speak? Not because the listener offers better ideas, but because the simple act of feeling heard creates connection. If you wish to influence, let others speak about themselves. Most are desperate to feel understood, and in granting them that, they will trust you. Another truth: fear outweighs reward. People are more driven by the fear of loss than the promise of gain. If you want action, don't highlight what they could achieve. Highlight what they stand to lose. And one final insight: people crave exclusivity. When something is accessible to all, it diminishes in value. If you want an idea to take hold, make people feel privileged to understand it. Let them believe they belong to a select group who see what others do not. Now, the ultimate enemy of influence: organized opposition. Nothing destroys control faster than unity. History proves that revolutions succeed only when people unite under a common cause. To maintain control, never allow them to align against you. Divide before they organize. How? By fostering internal conflict. You don't need to destroy a group. Only make them fight among themselves. And now, the final dilemma: the cost of manipulation. When you master influence, you start seeing the world differently. You recognize when you're being manipulated. And when you see the strings, the illusion shatters. You begin to question everything. But in this game, control is never absolute. Because even with mastery, one element remains unpredictable: human chaos. People don't always react as expected. One stray emotion, one life change, one revelation, and all your control crumbles. So the final question isn't just whether you can manipulate, but if you're ready for what comes next.